Playing life in the fast lane, you'll see why. There is a wild, wild story. One of the craziest stories I've heard in a long time at the end of this thing. So stay tuned. That is a good hook, actually. It's nothing to do with mortgages. And the rest of this is probably going to be not so great news. So we're going to end it with something fun at least. So let's hop into it, team. Quick reminder, we're breaking stride. Usually we jump right into rates. Just a reminder, new proposed limits are not finalized at 750 grand for a new conforming loan amount, meaning to avoid jumbo financing. That's up about 25 grand. I'm using round numbers. But we can actually take locks, start the loans today using the 750 loan amount. So if you guys have somebody out there that's shopping, just up them by a few extra bucks to avoid the jumbo financing. Something else that's huge, this I just found out literally this morning, coming up in November, Fannie Mae will allow duplexes up to a fourplex. So the 2, 3, and 4 unit properties with only 5% down. So right now, depending on which one you pick, that could be as much as 20%. They're now doing as much as 2%. So if you have investors or somebody that wants to get into investing, what a great way. Go buy a duplex, rent it out. Go buy a 3 or 4plex, rent out the other 3 or 4 sides, live in one. You can do that with owner-occupied homes. That is huge. All right, rates. They did it. They did it. They hit 8%. So this is from Mortgage News Daily. It sucks. I'm not going to sugarcoat it any other way. You can see how the market's just gotten beat up. And I included the bottom part today down here. It just shows that since basically September, the market's been oversold, meaning like it's just been, you'd think at some point it'd reverse course. Who knows? Time will tell. I told you this wasn't the best news ever. Part of the reason for the delay in releasing this is I wanted to see what Powell had to say today at lunchtime, and basically just says that inflation, is still hotter than like. They may kind of hinted more actions. We got a couple of Fed members saying they still want to hike rates. Anyway, you guys know where I stand on that. So here's something new. I didn't know this was a thing. There's a WARN, a worker adjustment and retraining notification. It's getting blocked by my little Zoom thing up here. Basically, this is companies, and again, big companies are going to let go of people, have to give an advance notice that they're going to do this, like more than 60 days. So the blue line, you guys can see how all of a sudden, a lot of warnings are out there saying that they're going to be laying people off. So that gold line, jobless claims, that should be changing directions here in a little bit. And that will, people lose jobs, they don't spend their money, et cetera, et cetera. That will help with inflation. So here's inflation, as we've said all along. I won't go into it today because I do it enough every week. Shelter costs show that inflation could and should be significantly lower, like to the point where it's probably already in the mid-2s. I don't know if this is going to be anything meaningful, but I got at least to mention it so I know what I'm talking about. Biden is trying to talk about doing some stuff, making some changes. Honestly, and I'm not trying to get political, I just don't think any of them are going to do anything. And if they do spend $10 billion, that's inflationary. So I prefer this not to pass. We'll see what happens. We'll keep you guys posted. We won't go into it right now. You home builders, if you're watching this and you're a home builder, you apparently are not in a good mood. So current and previous. So a 50 on this, the way these things are measured, a 50 shows that things are neutral. 50 score 51 shows that they think things are good and are growing and expanding. A below 50 score says no bueno. Buyer traffic, and if you're in the real estate community, you know this. Buyer traffic is down considerably. It's a 26 score from the home builder. So also 62% of them, little fine print down here, 62% of them are using incentives. We highly recommend it. 2-1 buy downs are really good. We can do forward commitments without money out of pocket. So if you're a home builder watching this, you don't need to spend any money doing a forward commitment. So if you're a small to medium builder, you can play like you're with the big boys. So the DR Hortons and all those worlds that are showing 4.99 or whatever they want to show. If you want to do that too, we can help you and not cost you any money out of pocket. So there's some good news. And I don't know if it's true, time will tell. Supposedly, mortgage originations will surge in 19%. That's probably bad for most of you watching this because that is typically, it sounds like refinances, just because, again, they think rates are going to fall due to a recession. And also, while it would incentivize home buyers to return, it would help. It doesn't help that all these buyers are going to come out and we sell the low inventory. So they're saying it might help for the housing supply. Maybe more people will be willing to sell their homes, but who knows? We'll see. I have Dave Reams and I have a difference of opinion. I liked the article all of a sudden because the headline got me for the clickbait. And he said, you should buy a home now. And I was like, really? Dave thinks that? Turns out, he says, if you're debt free and you have an emergency fund, then buy real estate. Here's my point, Dave. If somebody would have bought a home anytime in the last 3 or 4 years, heck, in the last 10 years, with the appreciation like it's been, those folks can easily take that money and refinance and pay off all their debts. Like the average homeowner, let's just take a home here in Dallas-Fort Worth. It's gone from 400,000 to about, and I'm not exaggerating, potentially as much as 500,000. In some cases, significantly more in the last few years. Like that is 100 grand of equity, and you have to pay for something to live somewhere, right? You're paying rent or buying a house. I disagree with them. Had to at least throw it up there. This is interesting but sad. Apparently, Texas is now less affordable than Chicago. This is a 10-year review, 2013 to 2023. You can pause it if you want to see more. I just thought that was interesting. Okay, here's the good story. This old boy right here in the middle, Jimmy Zong, out of Athens, Georgia, and go to CNBC and find the whole story. I'll give you the paraphrase version here. Apparently, this dude, he reported in Athens, Georgia. He called the police and said somebody stole $600,000 worth of Bitcoin from me, and so he has surveillance cameras and all this other stuff. Well, all of a sudden, the police called the state. The state got confused. They kind of bring in some experts trying to help this kid out. And he's, I think, I don't remember the age. He's mid-20s, late 20s, whatever it is. And he was part of one of the original, as they call them, original gangsters in Bitcoin. He helped design the Bitcoin software, like the Bitcoins, like way back in the day. And apparently Silk Road, if you guys remember that website, is for bad guys. It was like drugs, guns, and all that other stuff. From that website, he stole like 50,000 Bitcoin, which in today's dollars is $3 billion. So for the last 10, 15 years, this kid's been a billionaire living off Bitcoins. And then he has the audacity to call the cops. And because of that, they somehow traced, and it's really interesting. He traced it. He'd go on parties. He'd give all his friends 10 grand to go shop at Originator Drive, fly a private plane. It's a freaking movie. And I think he only got like a year and a half of jail. So if you haven't done it or seen this kid, go read the story. There's like, I think they even did a little video on there. It is a freaking movie. So that is my feel-good story of the day. As always, guys, let's get social. Share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Do what you got to do to, put us out there and call us if you need us. And have a great and wonderful weekend. And if you got 3 billion Bitcoin, don't do anything stupid. Bye, guys.